Alright everybody, this is my beautiful Betsy Lou rust bucket. It's my favorite truck, believe it or not. I've decided to make a video about the windshield wiper motor because I saw a few on YouTube that didn't really quite touch on it as easily as I was able to get this thing out. So a couple of things that you're going to need. I've got a 10 millimeter socket and an 8mm socket, and I got this piece fastened onto the end of my drill so that I can just use my drill to zip out all the screws and bolts and stuff, and a Phillips bit screwdriver. What we're going to end up doing is we're going to take this piece off right here in order to get to the motor. Alright, first things first, I forgot to mention that you do need a screwdriver as well. The windshield wipers come off. You lift this up here, you just lift it up, and then it's going to be hard to do this with one hand, but you lift the wiper up, and then this right here comes out. Let's see if I can do this in a way that will allow me to. Okay, you lift this up, and then this comes out, and you let go, and it stays standing out. It gives you an opportunity to just take it right off. Boom. And then we'll take the other one off, and then we'll take off the antenna over there. Alright, the antenna is pretty simple. It just has this piece right here. Just kind of pops right off of there. And then you just unscrew the antenna. Mine is pretty loose because I've taken it off of here a third time now. But that just comes off of there. This comes off. And then you're going to want to take those screws out. And you don't want to disconnect the wire. You just want to take this loose because this, the way that it goes down in there, gets in the way of trying to take this whole plate out. So I'll show you that when we get there. Alright, before we take that loose, I'm going to let you know that there are these holes right here, and there's one here, and there's a couple more along there. Those are all Phillips screws. Take those all out. Remove all of them, and at the same time remove these. And what I do is I just leave the hood shut. It's popped. And for you guys who own one of these trucks as a collector, you might not want to do what I'm about to do because I found this is the easiest thing to do. There was one guy that said to remove the hood entirely, but honestly I don't want to try lining it all back up and everything, so I just climb right up there and zip them screws out with a screw gun, and after that I'll show you the next step. Now in climbing up here, I will tell you, don't put all your weight in the middle. I put my knees right up here on the edge where the most structure is so that I don't dent it in. And I've already been up here a few times, and you can see I don't have any dents in the hood, so it's definitely possible. You just put all your weight up here and back here, not in the middle, otherwise you'll dent your hood in. Those screws are out, so now what we're going to end up doing here is generally my truck is missing it because I took it off for a different thing, but there's a strip right along here that also takes Phillips screws. Mine's missing. Like I said, I already took it off for something else, but you're going to want to take all those out, and then there's a screw here on this side and one on the other side. Remove those, and this whole plate will be loose. Right now it's still pretty sturdy after taking all them screws out, but now I just need to remove, for my truck, just these two, this one here and that one over there. These are the brackets and stuff to take the hood off. If you go that route, it's pretty simple, straightforward. They're all right there, but you're just going to have to line it back up when you're done and make sure your hood closes right, which is pretty tedious, and that's exactly why I don't want to do that. It's time consuming. As it is right now, though, it'd probably be a good idea to go ahead and unplug the wiper motor. And here it is right here, and your bolts are back in there. And you'll see once I get this plate off how much easier it is to get to that when this is gone. Okay, I got all the screws out of that piece. Now I'm going to try to set the phone down so that you can see how this thing comes off. There we go. Now all the screws are loose. It's good and loose. Just kind of want to work it out there because all of the wiper fluid lines are underneath it and still attached, so we don't want to get those out. Lower the hood just a little bit here. Oops, smash my phone. Drop this like that. All the way up here. And there we go. That piece is loose. Uncovering this piece right here, and there is a screw here, a screw there, a screw there, and a screw there, and then it will uncover the screws underneath. Piece removed. Now what I like to do is I got this little attachment for my drill that allows me to use sockets, and those bolts there are 10 millimeter each. Take them off and take care not to drop them, because I mean, I got a magnet, so I'll just run a magnet underneath the truck and try and find it, but if it doesn't fall all the way through, guess what? You lost it until you drive, and then you really lost it. So you take all these out, and it's loose. As a matter of fact, I think I went in the wrong order. Before taking all those bolts out, I forgot a pretty vital piece here. Up here, where we removed this, and you can't really see. Okay, so down in there, you'll see this is one of the wiper bars. Okay, and there's one that goes the other way, and they're on there with a clip on the back end of it. You remove that clip, and then both of these, they're probably going to be seized on there just a little bit, so you just use a screwdriver or whatever, tap on them a little, get them loose, and then they'll come right off of that shaft. And then once these are off, you can remove the bolts from the window motor, or the wiper motor, and you can take it out of the hole. So I need to shut the hood so I can climb up on there again to get to that clip. Alright, here's a better view. Like I said, these hoses are kind of in the way here. I didn't take them off because I don't want to risk tearing them or breaking them or anything. They're probably pretty simple, but in an old truck, you'll often find that hoses like this are brittle. So if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Alright, so here is the clip. Right. You see it? There's the clip. And you can see with my screwdriver there. And you're going to want to get in the middle of there, right there, and just unclip it and get that clip off. And those will come right off. I can't do this with one hand, so. Okay. Got the clip off. Now I'm going to go ahead and remove this last screw here, as I was out of order earlier. Okay, it's going to fall like that. Just be careful, don't drop nothing until you have a safe place to drop it. Okay, here we go. And it just comes right out. Okay, so when you get the new motor, you will have just the motor. Oops, stay on there. Okay, so you'll have just the motor. So these three bolts in here, those are 8 millimeter. Those three. You'll have to remove those, and this one. This is also an 8 millimeter, and this bracket right here comes off of the end of the motor. And then you're left with just the motor. Take it in, and a lot of places just charge you a core charge, and I assume it's because they don't like making brand new parts for vehicles this old. So they rebuild all of the old ones, And I have taken this cap off and looked inside it, and this part is really tricky to get off of there because of the brushes and everything that's in there. So your best bet is just to buy a new one. I wouldn't go buying a used one that's been rebuilt simply for the fact that this is the second one that I've put in and it doesn't work right, and I have to go back and get another one and put it in and take the gamble on it working right. So if it doesn't work right, I'm just going to get my money back, and I'm going to buy one off eBay brand new, because it's definitely cheaper than buying one right out of the auto parts store. So I'm going to zip these screws out, get that plate off of there, and show you what the motor looks like without all that stuff. And that's the removal. Alright, and that's that. So the new one doesn't come with this plate, so you have to take it off along with this bar here. Mine's been off there a few times, so it was pretty easy, but so you got to put that back on there, and then remember the orientation in which you take it off. However, if you look real closely at this, the hole is only made to fit one way. It's rounded on the top, flat on the bottom, and there's a taper on the shaft. In order for you, when you screw that screw down all the way, it'll go in there. It'll go all the way on like it's supposed to. It's not supposed to be loose on there. So when you tighten that down, it locks it in place. So you got to make sure on that step to make sure that gets in there right. And then you take this stuff off of there, and then we enjoy a ride with no windshield wipers up to the auto parts store to have them replace this thing one more time.